Good morning. Good morning, everybody who's sitting here in the seats, and good morning to everybody who's watching us on the live stream. It is so great to be together this morning in our Kindness Cathedral, our Transformation Temple, where we are this beautiful center of mystical non-duality, learning to live and love as oneness. So I'm just so great to see you, and just know that the service is going to unfold beautifully. And I'm going to pass it over to Lonnie, our board president.
Good morning. I got to say, I'm a little distracted by all these beautiful faces.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome, and welcome in our virtual world, too. We love you, and we're glad that you joined us. Bonnie, should we say something about our little meeting afterwards?
Yes,
our little meeting?
Yeah.
So we're going to have a meeting after the church so that you can ask us questions. I'm calling it VCSL Jeopardy. When will the snacks return for 400? I know, that's a big one.
It is, yeah.
But for our virtual family, if you do have questions, please put them in the comments. No, we're not going to tell you how much Bonnie weighs, so scratch that.
Really?
I knew you were worried about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we want to be able to address, because, you know, we're transforming and we're opening up, and I know you have like some pressing desires to know what the future looks like, or might not look like. So anyway, settle in. It's going to be a beautiful morning.
Yes.
And we're all here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lonnie. And now we're going to hear from Bill, who's from
Bill. I'm Bill Hadris with Youth and Family, and I moved up here because I wanted you to look at the flowers. Except for Chris. He can't see him. I'm in his way. But there's beautiful yellow, pink, purple, white, so many different colors, so many different flowers there. But let me ask you, which flower is the perfect one?
All of them?
Oh. Well, I'd say there are no mistakes in the divine plan. Ernest Holmes wrote, "We exist in limitless opportunities, which are forever seeking expression through us." So that means we are perfect expressions of God, and all that comes through us is God expressing. So if you're afraid to try to do something because you don't think it'll be perfect, try it with an ish. I put on my stole this morning. It's straight-ish, don't you think?
Yes, it is.
Right?
Right.
The flowers. We could say they're all flowerish, right? You don't know how to sing a song, try singing-ish. You'll get there, right? Draw a horse. Oh my goodness, can you draw a horse? Start with something horse-ish. It'll come out. And maybe make your own bouquet. Start with bouquet-ish. It'll be good. It'll be good. And if you don't know how to express joy, try to find something joyous. It'll all come through. Let go and let God express through you in its perfect, unique way. So I invite you to repeat after me. My life is perfect-ish.
My life is perfect-ish.
And so it is.
And so it is. Ah, great. Good one. Oh, that's going to be a thing, Bill. I feel it. That's going to be a principle. I'm going to do a sermon-ish after. After our singer is hardly ish, though. She's really good, you guys. And our practitioner is also really good. I don't think this is going to be a prayer-ish. This is going to be a really great prayer. So,
Ish.
Ish. Right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I ask that you join me in prayer this morning. Find your breath. Allow yourself to be present in this moment. Remembering to remember that it is God's breath that allows us to be here right now. We are animated and nourished by this breath. It is the evidence of God's love. So we settle into this moment, knowing that God is all there is, all that has ever been, and all that will ever be. And God is present right here, right now. speak my word right now, knowing that I am a part of that glorious presence. And I know that it is also true for each of us here today and beyond these walls. And I speak my word for this beautiful community of love. We get to serve love, be love, and share love here. I'm so grateful for the invitation to know love and power and the teachings that come from this place. I know today's service is a blessing, that each of us are blessed by this loving, glorious, wonderful presence that moves through us. So I bless all the hearts and hands that have everything to do with this service today. The musician, our beautiful band, Bonnie Rose, our tech team, our greeters, and all those present. And I, with a grateful heart, filled with gratitude, I release these words into the universal law, knowing that they are so. And together we say, so it is.
So it is. Thank you. And so breathing into that beautiful stillness that Gail brought us to with her grace and her goodness, we go ever deeper into our hearts to listen to our amazing reader, Hugh. And we open our minds and our beings, our hearts. We let everything go as we surrender to the words of our sacred reading.
An excerpt from Change Me Prayers by Tosha Silver. Donna, a life coach, once wrote me to say, "Your approach to life feels awfully passive. I dream up everything I want so I can manifest my next big batch of desires. I don't sit there twiddling my thumbs." Here's what I wrote back. "Look, that's one way to live. But believe me, you're not just lying around if you offer yourself to the divine. It's a shift from indulging the small self to serving the great one. If your inner conviction is, 'Let my highest destiny unfold,' or 'May I be a conduit for good,' your life can't help but change. Surprising and even inconceivable events hatch of their own volition. And sometimes once they line up, you barely have time to think straight. The divine is literally using you day and night in the most oddly fulfilling ways, because it knows you inside out. Your talents, your passions, your longings. I mean, who made you anyway? And if you say, 'Great, take all of me. Let me serve a divine plan,' the universe definitely responds. It won't ignore such a plea. Your whole vibration elevates to a different dimension, sort of like drinking clear water from an alpine stream rather than from a fizzy bottle of Diet Coke. After all, at some point in the evolutionary road, soda goes flat, and your soul gets kind of thirsty. So, let us pray together. Change me, divine beloved, into one who offers myself to you. Fill me with faith and trust to know that you know my deepest needs and longings. Use me for the highest good. I am yours. You are mine. We are one. all is well. And so it is.
In the spirit of surrender, let us continue with our eyes closed, breathing deeply, moving ever more into that spaciousness that is beyond definitions, that is beyond whatever we think we know, but it is the great cloud of unknowing that fills us and surrounds us and lifts us into an ever more present realization and experience of the mystery of God, the mystery of love expressing as each of us in ways that we never, ever dreamed of. And so we open to that surrender. We open our reality to that surrender. We open all of reality to that surrender. As we sing together, I am remembering who I am. I invite you, if you're more comfortable, to put a mask over your mouth and sing softly into your mask. But together we sing, I am remembering who I am. And from that place of wholeness and spaciousness within each of us, within the one that is all of us, let us breathe in deeply and then exhale, opening our eyes in love and in service to what is, as it is, and so it is.
Good morning, CSL, Ventura CSL. I feel so honored and privileged to be here. The moment I walked through the doors, I felt such love, and everyone that I've met has just blessed me. And I don't want my makeup messed up, but it's just so touching and so beautiful, everything that has been said, and just the consciousness is so simply beautiful. Thank you. This is an original composition, and by the way, I love your band. Wonderful. You guys are so blessed, and I love you. This is an original composition. Rest in thee, every moment, every hour. Rest in thee, in thine omniscient, omnipower. Oh, rest in thee. Still your mind like the coming waters, and wait on love. Don't you move till you're moved. Every moment, every hour, till you're moved in thine omniscient, omnipower, till you're moved. Still your mind like the coming waters, darkest, coldest storm, the sun will shine, keeping you from harm. I'm in you and you're in me, praying my name with authority, with the faith of thee. Spread your wings to fly so high under the heavens. No barriers, you're why don't you rest in thee every moment, every single hour, till you're moved in thine omniscient omnipower, till you're moved. Still your mind like the calming waters and wait, wait on Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that's got to be fun, people. My favorite part was you sing, meh, and then the band goes, bah, and then he goes, bah. Isn't that awesome? They are so awesome. I love that. Okay. Oh, goodness, folks. Wasn't that fun? I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, goodness. So we're kind of going from the sublime to the ridiculous here because I'm going to be talking about something that is so human and so funny to me. How many of you have those cards, like you've got angel cards or tarot cards or some type of card that's supposed to tell you your future, right? And I have some. I've got some from Tosha Silver, the author of the reading that we did. And you have a decision to make or you're struggling with something and you pick a card, right? How many of you said, oh, no, do over? So many times. I was at a party once where I actually gave someone a book of the Tosha Silver cards, which are excellent, by the way. But if you don't like surrender, don't waste your money because a lot of them are about surrender. But I gave her one, and we went around. I gave her the book, the deck of cards, and we went around the room, and we each picked one. And I picked one, and I looked at it, and I decided, okay, just be a big girl, hold on to it. I don't like it, but I'm going to hold on to it. And then when she was done, I'm like, yeah, I want a do-over. Come back over here with those cards. So I stuck it back in, pulled another one, basic same theme, put that one back. I'm like, well, maybe I need to go home and pull my own Tosha Silver cards. The same stinking card that I picked the first time. And the thing that the card said was, intention without surrender is delusion. Why do you laugh, sir? I'm married to him, just in case you don't know. Intention without surrender is delusion. Now, I don't know about you, but I find that offensive. I'm not delusional, I am organized. I'm in control. I have it on an Excel spreadsheet, so therefore it will happen. Not only will it happen in my time frame, because I have target dates. Oh. So you're going to burst my bubble, are you? Okay. So maybe just give that up because that doesn't work. Yeah. It works sometimes. It works for goals, but intentions, what's her name? Diane Harmony identifies intentions as inspirations from the heart and from the spirit, from intuition, whereas goals are from the mind. And goals are fine. Goals are great. However, intentions are something different, and they often require their own timing, spirit's timing, the timing of nature, the pace of nature, in order to unfold in the way that they are supposed to unfold. And if we push it, we miss out. We miss out on peace of mind, but we also miss out on the great gift that we get when we allow ourselves to surrender to the divine. So let's talk a little bit about surrender. How many people feel like I just said a swear word up here? With surrender. Oh, okay, good. Surrender. You know, I taught a class on one of Tosha's books. It was called It's Not Your Money. And every week, it was an 8-week class, almost every week, when we got to the part about surrender. From then on, it was an ongoing debate about whether surrender was a good thing or a bad thing, whether it was something we wanted to do or something we didn't want to do. And ultimately, we came to the conclusion that surrender is a good thing, but you know, it's hard for our separate self, for our egoic operating system, to understand that surrender is actually something beautiful. As I was contemplating this message today, this sermon-ish, I thought about how we are always surrendering to something, you know? We can surrender to our compulsions. I had to look up the word compulsion because I'm not familiar with the term. How many of you might have had one or two compulsions during the pandemic? You can just raise your pinky. You don't have to raise your whole hand. Yeah. Oh, see, people are raising their pinkies like this. The reason for raising your pinky is if you want to be discreet about it, right? Yeah, compulsions. You know, there were cookies. There was acting like my dog, roaming around the house all day looking for food. You know, there were jigsaw puzzles. There was Netflix. Oh my gosh, Netflix! What a compulsion. And those were very compelling compulsions. But you know, the other thing that we have is compulsive thoughts, compulsive stories that we tell ourselves. How many of you have a compulsive story about doubt? You don't have to raise your hands. How many of us have a compulsive story about fear? How many of us have a compulsive story about shame? How many of us have a compulsive story about guilt? How many of us have a compulsive story about lack? It's not enough. There are so many compulsive thoughts that we have, so many compulsive stories that we tell ourselves over and over and over again. And the thing is that the more we tell ourselves, the more we see what we believe, and the more that starts feeling like reality, right? And there's really a much greater reality that we are privy to. So I'm going to recommend today that we don't necessarily have to divorce ourselves from our compulsions. Rather, we notice them, but we switch the focus of our compulsion. We get compelled by optimism. We are compulsive about knowing the spiritual truth. We are compulsive about prayer. We are compulsive about praying. You know, when I looked up compulsive in the dictionary, it said something irresistible that we have to do. So what if it was irresistible to pray and to know the truth and to know that God's grace is in everything and that as we surrender, we get to receive it? How about that, people? What do you think? Yeah? Okay. You going to do it? Okay, never mind. Calm down just a minute. It's warm up here. All right. So, you know, some people wonder, and you know, this comes up in every class that I teach, and it comes up for me, I don't know, like every day, if not every hour, but why should I trust the universe? Why should I trust God? Why should I trust love when I feel that I have such false control over here, you know, when I'm really making things happen? You know, why should I trust? And boy, we don't know anything. Oh my gosh. I watched a movie. Has anybody seen Fantastic Fungi? I'm shocked that only a few people have seen it. It is a blockbuster. It's on Prime. You have to pay for it, but it's on Prime, yeah. And it's about mushrooms, fungi, however you say it. And it's amazing. Oh my gosh, they show all these pictures of mushrooms unfolding beautifully. But the really cool thing that I took away from it was that underneath, many of us know about the mycelium network, right? There's this mycelium network of like tentacles coming out of fungi. Is it fungi or fungi? Fungi. Okay, fungi. Sounds, never mind. I was about to do something politically incorrect. It sounds like a karate word to me. Fungi. Okay, that was politically incorrect. I'm sorry, I apologize. Anyway, okay, so fungi. So there's all of these tentacles coming out of fungi, and they're communicating with the trees so that the trees can communicate with each other. And when they showed it under, like a photography of it underground, it looks remarkably like the solar system. with all of these connections, between the stars, the way that we have the constellations. It also looks remarkably like the branches of a tree. And then you think, well, the branches of the tree are a lot like the roots of the tree. And you start thinking, wow, as above, so below. And then you see that the mycelium network of fungi communicating with all of the trees and letting the trees communicate with each other and knowing what they need and supporting one another without any greed or without any adverse reactions. They're forming this community. You say, oh my gosh, this network under here is a lot like our nervous system. So it's not only as above, so below, it's as within, so without, right? That's what it says in the Gospel of Thomas, and we've got nature. We've got a visible, metaphorical, true representation of that in nature. The other thing I was contemplating today too, or yesterday, was, I'm praying for somebody who's experiencing a difficult pregnancy. She's away from here. She lives in a different country, but I'm praying for her, and she's a writer, and she wrote this beautiful, beautiful article about the illusion of the separate self. And she wrote about how in our bodies there are, she said 40 trillion, but then I researched a little bit and it said 100 trillion microorganisms in our bodies. And is that self or not self? These are our helpful microorganisms, which is it? How do we relate to that? And these are all things doing their job. Why are you laughing, Bernie Austin? Okay. Dot's making you laugh. Okay. Sorry. I'm so excited to have people back to talk to. It's been really slim pickings here for a while. But anyway, there's all of these microorganisms doing their job, and are they who we are, or are they not who we are? I would be inclined to think that they are part of who we are. And then when you look at that and you branch that out into sort of more of a global level, are the 7 billion people on this planet who we are, or are they not who we are? They are who we are. They are who we are. So there's that going on too. All of this mystery that I would have never thought about and that is happening all of the time around us, that we are literally standing on the salvation of the earth when we stand on the ground with all of those mycelium and fungal things going on underneath there. So that's why I'm saying, if we want to control everything, we don't really know very much. So why not just surrender? The other thing is that we are often bewitched by our senses. We are often bewitched by our senses, and we think that what our senses perceive is reality. I listened to another YouTube lecture that was called, "Yes, We Have No Bananas." Anybody know that song? Oh, thank you. Now I don't have to sing it. Bananas today. Yes, it was going to come out very operatic if I sang it, so thank you for singing it. Yes, we have no bananas. We have no bananas today. So what that story was about, I'm like, why am I listening to this? But really what it talked about is how we experience a common object like a banana. We experience it through our senses. We experience the color of it. We experience the shape of it. We see it with our eyes. We smell it. We taste it. If we're pulling the peel, we hear it. If we chop it, we hear it. If we touch it, we experience it through tactile senses. And yet, this is going to sound really weird, but what is the banana without the input from our 5 senses? Is it just an idea? What is it? Does it exist? Does it exist, people? I don't know the answer. It's sort of like that idea of a tree falling in the forest. Does it make a sound? I looked up that yesterday too. And what they said, and the things that I read, is that it creates a sound. However, you have to redefine sound as waves of energy, because it creates waves of energy. If there's no receptive orifice to hear the sound, to have the little vibrations of the bone that send the symbol to the brain that means that a sound has taken place, and then we start to interpret the sound, then it may be that no, a sound has not been created. So, what is reality without our sensation, without our sense organs? Is it an idea? Is it something greater than we can imagine? I don't know if this is helpful or you should be smoking something when we're talking about this, but what it teaches me is that our senses are not the authority on what is happening. Not only our outer senses, but sometimes even what we're calling our intuition, but is really our ego fretting away. How many of you ever made up a terrible story about something and then had it not happen? I did that this week. How many of you did that this week? You did too? Wow. Okay. So it's, we do it all the time, and we get into this thing of thinking, a little voice will go off and say, well, that can't be true. But then the senses and the past and our current neural grooves, our current habits of thought take over, and they say, no, it's got to be true because I'm thinking it. I'm thinking it, so it's got to be true. But what if it isn't? I know that my story that I made up last week was so benign. It was ridiculous. It was embarrassing. I told my husband about it, and I'm like, I'm embarrassed to tell you what it really was, what really happened. But I can't tell it here because it's way too embarrassing. Seriously. I mean, you've seen a lot of bad stuff come out of this mouth, but this one's really bad. Okay. Oh, come on. Yeah. No. Yeah. So maybe later. But the point that I'm making is that Ernest Holmes said that spiritual truth is greater than solid facts. And that whole business about the banana, and that things don't necessarily exist until we're aware of them, the sound of a tree falling in the woods, that they kind of only exist if we perceive them. And so our perception is sometimes coming in and giving us untruths about what is really happening. We don't perceive the mycelium network under the ground. I didn't perceive it. I knew about it, but I didn't perceive it as fully as I did until we watched that movie. But it's happening. It's really happening. And what if the same thing is true for grace? What if the same thing is true for the universe? That there is this network of grace that is always supporting us, that is always seeking our good, that is always encouraging us to do, as what Esther Hicks says, move away from the path of most resistance and move into the path of most allowing. Doesn't that feel good? Who wants to move into the path of most allowing? If you really want to do it, raise 2 hands. Okay, put your hands down. It's a little stinky in here, right? Okay. All right. So, moving into the path of most allowing. Ultimately, that requires surrendering. Surrendering what we think we know, surrendering what we think the facts are, surrendering into a greater reality of grace that is always for us, always on our side, always wanting to unfold in more mystical and magical and wonderful ways. It means surrender. The question always comes up, how do we actually do that? Is there a how-to manual as to how to surrender? I think we try different things and we see what fits for us. One of the things that one of my colleagues and friends, Reverend Patrick Harbula, talks about is at the end of the day, write down how much you've thought about what you want, right? We get compelled to think about what we want instead of compelled to think about what we don't want. We shift that compulsion over here, right? Write down at the end of the day, were you in this camp of thinking about what you don't want, or were you thinking about this camp of what you do want? Just write down a percentage. I've known about this tool for years. One of my best friends, who's one of his clients, has known about this tool for years. I have to say, I have never, ever written down a percentage of how much time I'm thinking about what I want and don't want. It just seems like too much work at the end of the day to get a pen, and write it down and think about it. And it's probably a very useful tool for some people because I know he swears by it and he does it. But for me, what works for me is to just say for an hour. For an hour, I'm going to notice where I'm telling myself the story of doubt, fear, where I'm in compulsive doubt, compulsive fear, where I'm saying that my fear is reality, where I'm saying that my doubt is reality, where I'm saying that my guilt is reality, that my shame is reality, and then just redirect it someplace else. I'm going to notice that for an hour, and maybe even if I'm being really sassy, keep a little tally of it. Oh, I did that 30 times in the last hour. I did that 10 times in the last hour. Just keep a little tally. Notice how often our minds want to go down that neural pathway, and then see if we can just kind of redirect it someplace else. Reframe it. One of the great things, we actually heard this in the car on the way coming over here. There was a story by Thomas Keating, who was he brought centering prayer very much into the forefront of American consciousness. And there's a nun who was working on centering prayer, and she approached Father Keating afterwards, and she said to him, I am terrible at the centering prayer thing. Anybody ever feel that way? I'm terrible at meditation. I'm terrible at the centering prayer thing. And my mind must have strayed 10,000 times. And Father Keating said, oh, wow, isn't that awesome? That's 10,000 opportunities to come back to God. So, if we're looking at where we are straying down, getting compelled into that path of doubt, fear, shame, guilt, whatever it is, and we see it, we don't have to beat ourselves up for it. We're doing it kind of perfect-ish. We're going to move ourselves over into that place and just recognize that, oh my gosh, I've just been given a beautiful billboard that is going to orient me back to this path of most allowing, to this path of surrender to the grace in the universe. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? So we can celebrate when we see ourselves out of alignment because it gives us an opportunity to realign with this, which is gives us an opportunity to realign. God. Yeah. God is punishing me for imitating a karate chopper. So there's that. We are giving ourselves an opportunity to realign with that which is most pure and holy and noble for our own specific, direct life path that is just incredible. It can't be any other way. Surely you are greater than a mushroom, right? And the mushrooms have an incredible life trajectory, and you are here to express something magnificent, and you get to realign with it. One of the ways that I look at this too, to keep a lot of the stress and drama out of like, oh my God, I'm doing the wrong thing again, let me get over here. We do that. I hear that a lot from practitioners. They're like, I'm doing the wrong thing, I'm a terrible practitioner. Not that I hear it from myself at all, but everybody does it. We notice what's happening and then we realign. But what's been helpful for me was to remember this opportunity of being in the wrong movie. And switching the movie. Chris, you may remember this. Chris and I went to see a Jesus movie. And this was years ago, and I couldn't get a lot of people to go see a Jesus movie with me. It was about the crucifixion, and it was not a really good movie, by the way. It was one of the ones where Jesus looks like he's been working out, and he's really, really buff, really handsome, really white looking, and anyway, so we watched the previews. And then this one preview seemed to go on for an awfully long time, and it was something like SpongeBob, And it was so funny to sit in this theater, which was not very crowded, because Chris and I are going, is this the preview? And then you kind of hear this ripple going through the theater. I'm like, I'm going to go talk to somebody about it. So I went out, talked to the teenager shoveling popcorn into buckets, and I said, I am not an expert in the Bible, really. I am a minister, but I wouldn't say that I'm a total Bible scholar. But last I checked, SpongeBob was not in the crucifixion. Although, there was a sponge in the crucifixion, by the way. When Jesus says, I thirst, give him a sponge. Maybe that was SpongeBob. That was, okay. Again. So, I spoke to the manager, and they changed the movie, and we got to see the crucifixion movie, which, in my opinion, yours maybe was not the best crucifixion movie ever. Yeah, Jesus was really buff, and Mary Magdalene had work done, like her, she was, yeah. So you don't have to go to a movie to experience this. If you've ever been like Netflix surfing or channel surfing or something, you get in something that you don't like, you just push a button. You just push a button and you change. There's not a lot of beating up like, why did I turn into this movie? It's terrible. No, same thing. When you're feeling guilt, when you're feeling doubt, when you're feeling shame, when you're feeling fear, it's just push a button. Go over here. Go over here and think about something else. You may not be able to go from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds, but at least feel something better. That's a very Esther Hicks thing. It's like feel a little bit up the emotional scale. Okay, I'm feeling terrible doubt here. Well, maybe over here you feel a little bit of possibility. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe I don't know everything. Maybe I'm trying to control too much. Maybe I'm thinking amiss because I have this operational software that's always looking for danger. Maybe I could just let that go for a minute, and then gradually just taking steps in this direction until you're at a place when you're like, oh my gosh, I am open for allowing. I am open for the grace of goodness. I am open for love. I am open for infinite possibilities that I've never even considered. Spirit, I surrender my life to you, knowing that you know me better than anybody because you're the one who made me and you're the one who made this earth and you know all of my talents and all of my passions and you know what my heart really wants. So Spirit, take me. I am yours. Yes and amen. Let us pray. Thank you. And so turning within, I just celebrate this time together and just celebrate these words and these feelings and everything that has been stirred up this morning. Just knowing that truly God is all there is and that we have such great teachers among us in this congregation, in the books that we read, in the people who serve and the people that sit in the seats, and that we all come together for this beautiful, beautiful, inspirational Sunday where we open our hearts to receive more of the truth with a capital T, the truth that God is all there is, that God is in charge, that God has created the planets and the stars and the sun, and that God is not only infinite, but God is intimate in every single detail of our lives. And so we connect with that infinite, intimate presence right here and right now and call it our own and know that it calls us home as well, calls it back to itself. As if there was any distance, we simply just relax back into what we already are. And so from that place of relaxation, I know that our lives unfold beautifully, that we look at what it is we prefer, what it is we want, what it is we desire, that to which we aspire. And we just say, yes, Spirit, yes, Spirit, yes, Spirit. Move me into the place of deeper allowing. Open my heart so that I may receive this. Open my mind and my being so that I may be the feet and the hands and the heart of this quality expressing in the world. Open myself to the love that you are so that I may love others. Open myself to all that is and allow your wonders to pour through me and to me. And in that space of divine allowing, divine receivability, we cannot help but receive and we cannot help but give because we become so full that it simply pours out of us. And so I'm just so grateful to know this spiritual truth, so grateful to know this wisdom and this power and this love, so grateful to feel it in my body and my being, so grateful to transcend the mind that longs to separate, to befriend it and transcend it at the same time. So grateful for the act of surrender, so grateful for the goodness that we surrender to. And with a heart that is so filled with grace and so filled with humility and wonder and love and awe for all that is and awe for all of us here today, for these beautiful lives that we have been given. I say thank you, Spirit, thank you, love, and I release these words into the divine mystery, and together we say, and so it is. Hi.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi.
That was really good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, right? Pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you.
What a morning to remember to rest in me. What a beautiful song. And what touched my heart the most is that through all of this challenging time, when I've been up here, it was about sustaining our vision for our spiritual community. And I think you spoke it so well. I remember feeling the love when I walked in here the first time. And while we knew that we would make it, I had forgotten that was the vision, is that this is a center of love, and that when people walk through that door, they feel that. And that is because of what we share. And so this morning, as you do your offering, which we know it's not our money, but we know what our intention is, and that is to be a center of love. So I invite you to place your offering over your heart and repeat after me. We trust in Spirit.
We trust in Spirit.
Love is a giver and receiver of all that we are.
Love is a giver and receiver of all that we are.
We offer this gift.
We offer this gift.
It is an outer expression of our inner abundance and compassion.
It is an outer expression of our inner abundance and compassion.
Our gifts bless many.
Our gifts bless many.
and return to us multiplied in miraculous ways,
and return to us multiplied in miraculous ways,
so that we may give again.
so that we may give again.
And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Lonnie.
God is good every day. Lord, let me trust and build my faith to walk with you in every way. Open my eyes to see your face. One dark night my soul cried. Mama, she wiped my weeping eyes. She rocked me back and forth and said, open your eyes to see God's grace. Don't forget about your light. No, it'll guide you through the darkest nights. And don't forget about love. Whatever you do, stay prayed up. Thankful for dreams, for everything, yeah. Sunshine or rain, let your heart sing. Every day let your soundtrack play. Love symphony, then celebrate. Play, Chris, come on. Let's give the bass man some too. Come on. Can you hear him? Wait, just go a little bit more. Come on. We want to give everybody a solo. All right, drummer man, you ready? Ha! Woo! She said, don't forget about your life. No, it'll guide you through the darkest nights. And don't forget about love. Whatever you do, stay prayed up. Listen, here's what Mama said. There'll be times when you are tested to stand in the truth. Just know that you can rest in God's grace to see you through. To him that's given more is required, a pearl of great price to pay. When you heed the soul's desire, gotta make a way out of no way. Hey, don't forget about your light. Don't forget, no, it'll guide you through the darkest nights, yeah. And don't forget about love. Whatever you do, stay prayed up. Hey, yeah, stay prayed up. Pray to be an emissary of love. Pray to be the first to forgive. Don't sweat the small stuff, no. Pray to know wholeness and self-worth. Stay, pray, pray. Thank you.
Oh, you guys, that was fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. Some quick announcements for you. Let's see. So the flowers. I need to dedicate the flowers. Today's flowers are dedicated to Brian Eller for fixing our internet. May the force always be with you. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, and then after the service today, Lonnie mentioned that there's a short meeting, so we're just gonna see how you guys are doing. Really, it's not a big deal, but do stay if you'd like, if you've got questions or if you want to hear how we're doing. Blah blah blah. Okay. Ernest Holmes meets the Buddha class. That is starting on July 29th, and that is going to be a fantastic class. David and Mary are amazing teachers. I hear they're also an amazing comedy team. So go ahead and sign up for that class. The details are online on our website under classes. And then there's also another class taught by Susan Seal, who's a practitioner, and it's about Feng Shui, creating greater balance in your life using Feng Shui principles. And that's on Saturday the 17th, so that's coming up. So you're going to want to go on the website, sign up for that. Self-mastery is taught by the wonderful Linda Drevenstedt. That's part of the practitioner track, and it's about the emergence of the true self. It's going to be on Tuesday nights, and that's going to be our first in-person class, people. We're coming back. Yay! Linda's also a fantastic teacher, so I hope you guys sign up for that. The second Wednesday meditation is about kindness, and that's led by Peter Frank. That's still on Zoom. And then choir rehearsals are both in person and online. So you can meet downstairs for choir rehearsal at 12:30. If you've never tried our choir, consider it. What? Did I say 11:30? I said 12:30? Bummer. Don't go at 12:30. No one will be there. You'll be singing a solo. Okay. 11:30. Okay, thanks. And then, this is really important. So we partner, one of our community outreach projects is that we partner with the American Red Cross, and we let them use our space for blood drives. And there's an urgent need for blood right now. So if you feel so inclined and would like to give blood, you can go ahead and sign up for that online at the Red Cross website. And it's this Tuesday during the day, 11:30 to 5:30. And then there's 1-minute miracles after the service, and we're also starting to serve coffee and tea, and we're encouraging people to bring in wrapped, safe, COVID-safe treats for a while. We'll change that up later. And then again, meeting after I pray, and if you want to stay, just stay in your seat or come down from the balcony if you want, okay? All right. All right, let's pray. Here we go. So I just give such glorious thanks for this time together, for everybody that participated in this service, music and reading and holding vigil as a practitioner, praying for our congregation, for all of the team that works behind the scenes tirelessly to create this beautiful joining together of souls, this community, so that we can lift each other up and so that we can learn together and that we can inspire one another and hold each other when we're struggling. And so I'm just so grateful for everything that has happened here today, and I'm grateful for the blessing that I know that it brings into our lives, but also the blessings that what has happened here today ripples out into the world. We take our ripples seriously, and we trust and we know that all is well in the kingdom of heaven, for we are here, and it is here on earth with us, within us. For that, we are so very grateful. And with a heart that is filled with gratitude, we say, thank you, Spirit, thank you, love. And we release these words into the divine mystery. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you, everyone.